Sessions. They're going to be every 2 weeks. Look for us on social media. We'll have it in our blogs. We're going to be posting about it a lot. We're really excited to start this new initiative. We're going to exchange ideas with chapters and see how we could help each other grow over the course of the year. And it's really special because it's our 100th year of Phi Theta Kappa, as you know. And we're all really excited to share these different types of ideas that people have across the country. So please feel free to share anything in the chat box. The chat box, introduce yourself, introduce ideas. We'll use the Q&A box to ask specific questions. Maybe it's about deadlines, maybe it's a specific question about one of our blogs, or maybe you just have always wanted to ask one of us a question. So I will introduce myself first. I am Amanda Karpinski. I'm the International President. I'm from Bergen Community College in New Jersey, and my chapter is Alpha Epsilon Phi. So who would like to go next? How about Tasha?
Let me just unmute myself first. That's very important. Yeah, my name is Tasha Estein. I am the Division 4 Vice President from Arapahoe Community College, and I am a Sigma Phi member. Let's pass it off to Don.
Okay. My name is Don Koch. I am Division 1 Vice President. I have transferred. I am now with Alpha Nu Omega at Harrisburg Area Community College.
Hello, everyone. My name is Obina Moore, and I'm the International Vice President for Division 3 at Highland Community College, Highland, Kansas, Alpha Zeta Gamma. Glad to see you guys.
Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Heather Yush. I serve as the Director of Membership Services at Phi Theta Kappa headquarters. And I'm here just to listen and learn because I am sure that I have a lot to learn from all of you from all over the country. I've enjoyed saying hello to all of you in the chat box so far, so keep the introductions coming. It's great to see all of you and get to know you.
So if you don't know, we're all international officers, and we were elected to our positions during our last annual convention, which happened in Nashville, Tennessee. And if you are interested in running for international officer, or you want to see the whole process, our next convention will be happening in Kansas City, Missouri, April 19th through the 21st. So make sure you mark that on your calendars, April 19th to the 21st. We want to see everyone there. We're very excited. It's going to be a great convention and our biggest one yet because it's our 100th. So I see you guys are introducing yourselves in the chat box. Thank you so much. Please continue to do that throughout our session. We want to get to know everybody. That's why we have these new synergy sessions. So to go over some important things going on in Phi Theta Kappa right now. So a lot of chapters have been asking us how they can best support our other Phi Theta Kappa chapters and family that have been affected by Hurricane Harvey. We have set up the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund on ptk.org. So if you want to help donate to ptk.org on the donate section, and you can click down and go to Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund. And that is going, all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds will go to active PTK members that have been affected by Hurricane Harvey. And we really want to show them their support, our support for them and our love for them, because we truly are one united Phi Theta Kappa family. And when one of us struggles, we all feel that struggle. So we just want to show them that we really care and want to help them through this difficult time. So a couple other important deadlines. Make sure you get your notebooks because you're going to want to keep track of this. So September 15th, our fall scholarship application opens. This is a big scholarship. If you haven't done this before, it's one application on ptk.org. You fill out all of your information. There's a couple different tabs. It's very user-friendly. And once you submit that, it is submitted to several different scholarships. So it's one application, but you have a lot of chances to be awarded money. So please make sure you keep track of that. It opens next week, right? That's the 15th. So our next Synergy session, if you enjoy this session, our next one will be September 19th at 4 p.m. Central Time. Look for our promotions on social media because we'll be talking about that. And our next one will be hosted by Don. So it's going to be very exciting to see, and I can't wait for that. So on the next day, September 20th, we will have a webinar for fundraising for PTK Centennial Catalyst. Registration is now open for our convention, and I encourage all of you to talk to your chapter advisors and your members about planning to go to our convention, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Not only is it like the biggest convention, like a concert for PTK, but you truly get to learn a lot. We have incredible speakers that share their life stories, and we have a lot of different educational forums where you can really take advantage of everything that Phi Theta Kappa has to offer. So make sure you start to think about that. April might seem really far away, but it's going to fly by for all of us. So make sure you attend that on September 20th. Then September 27th, this is important for advisors and this year alumni. Our faculty scholar application deadline is September 27th. If you have been to Honors Institute, you'll see that the faculty scholars lead each session. So there are breakout sessions. So look at that on ptk.org and make sure you apply if you're an advisor or an alumni. It's an incredible opportunity. All of your expenses for Honors Institute are paid for, and you also get to travel to Jackson to headquarters, so make sure you check that out. And September 29th, this is another one important for Centennial. Our Centennial Alumni Challenge ends on September 29th. Now what our challenge is we have challenged each chapter in Phi Theta Kappa to submit at least 100 alumni names and contact information. And if you submit 100 names, you get a free registration for Centennial. It's a big deal. You can get up to 2 free registrations, and if you submit over 200 names, that's incredible. Now to give you some tips about that, because my chapter, we actually did submit over 200 names, which is an incredible opportunity. What we do is we really try to keep alumni active. It's great when you're a member of Phi Theta Kappa, but as most of you know, you have plans to transfer to a 4-year institution, or you have plans to enter the workforce. So what we start is, while you're still a member, we have a very strong presence of alumni. Every year we have an alumni panel, so we'll have maybe 5 or 6 Phi Theta Kappa alumni come back, and they'll range in ages and different stages of their life. So they'll tell us, well, this is what I did with my membership after I graduated. This is where I am now. And it's a good opportunity for students to see not only where Phi Theta Kappa can take you, but where your community college education can take you. So it's a good opportunity to see that where you can go in 5 to 10 years or even later than that. What we also do is we always try to keep an updated list for alumni. So your advisor will probably receive a list for eligible members every year, and we try to keep that updated once we have members graduate. So it's a big administrative task, but if you have 1 person or 2 people, always try to keep that updated. It's going to be easier to send out letters or invitations or things like that to alumni. Now the invitations we send, we have 1 alumni fundraiser dinner every year. And it's a really great opportunity for people to reconnect and to talk about their past PTK memories, everything that's going on with them now. So you always want to try to keep alumni engaged, because they're just as important as our members, and we can learn a lot from them. Do you guys have any other important deadlines? And please feel free that if you have any deadlines, add them to the chat box. But international officers, anything else going on in PTK? No?
I'm adding all of the links as you're talking. I'm just now getting to the Hurricane Harvey link, so if anyone is watching this and not looking at your chat box, you might want to take a look.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for doing that, Heather, and please feel free to continue to add to the chat box, ask any questions in the question and answers box. And I just want everybody to know that our Synergy session is being recorded with the thanks of Heather, and they will be posted with our other webinars at ptk.org/webinars. So if something happens, maybe you get disconnected or you want to show a friend this later on, everything will be recorded and up on our website. So I said it kind of briefly in the beginning, but we really wanted to start these sessions because we wanted to connect with members from across the country. a lot of the time people can feel like we meet each other at conferences and, you know, that might be it, but we really want to change that this year. We really want to become a united Phi Theta Kappa, and to show that our ideas can be used across the country and that we can help each other achieve success. So please feel free to always reach out to other Phi Theta Kappa members. At the end of the Synergy session, each of us, all the international officers, will put our emails in the chat box. And we are always available to speak with members or advisors or anyone that has any questions. This is why we ran, this is why we're here. So we really want to start these Synergy sessions with becoming united, becoming energized, getting ready for a new year. So if you follow the Reach blog, which is a great blog that you should definitely read, you'll see that we started a new Diversified Files. So the international officers, there's 5 of us. We're missing Jay today. And if you can see us, we're a very diverse group, not only in our appearance, but in our backgrounds, our ways of life, where we have been and where we will go. We're very diverse. And we feel that we truly reflect the membership of Phi Theta Kappa, which is a tremendous honor and a great opportunity and privilege because, as you know, Phi Theta Kappa is extremely diverse. So we coined ourselves as the Diversified, and every couple of weeks we'll be publishing a new blog called Diversified Files. When we met each other after the craziness of convention, we all had the goal of really wanting to spread the diversity and inclusion that we have in Phi Theta Kappa. It's very rare to find an organization as large as Phi Theta Kappa that incorporates so many different people. As you can see now, you know, we're all very different people, and you'll see that at any convention or conference. And it is just something we should really highlight and always discuss. So I chose to highlight a chapter from Portland, Oregon. And I thought they had a very interesting honors in action last year. And it's called Diversified Files, Voting Rights and Responsibilities. As all of you know, we live in a very hectic time for politics. And it can seem very confusing and frustrating when you see a lot of people arguing and confusion and all of those types of things on the news. And as a Phi Theta Kappan, as a catalyst, as someone that wants to help the world, you might not always know what to do because you don't want to make someone feel bad, you don't want to marginalize a group. But what this chapter did in Oregon, I thought was an incredible example of what we can do together to help include everyone. So during the presidential election of November 2016, they did some research about voting, who is voting in their community. And they realized that there was a marginalized group in their community that wasn't voting, and their voice was not being heard in legislation, and they just weren't getting out to the polls, and they weren't sharing their opinions or what they needed. So what this chapter did was they, Beta Epsilon Gamma, what they did was they researched what groups weren't voting and what they could do to help them. So groups weren't voting because there was either a language barrier, they were illiterate, or they simply weren't registered. So what Beta Gamma Epsilon did in response to that was they organized several events where they either showed people how to register, they had translators on site to help people overcome that language barrier, because you might not always have that type of support that is truly essential to helping people vote and register. And they helped people that were illiterate and may not necessarily understand the rhetoric of registering to vote. They helped them understand the importance of it. And this is something I think is truly outstanding that they did, because in a time where it's very easy to get down in that debate and, you know, go back and forth and arguing back and forth on certain topics, this Phi Theta Kappa chapter didn't do that. They didn't say someone was right and someone was wrong. They said we want to hear from everyone. And that is truly what Phi Theta Kappa is. We are inclusive. We're not the same. We're all different. And it is great to hear our different opinions, but that doesn't mean anyone is right or wrong. And this is what that chapter did. They said, we just want to hear from everyone, not one specific group. We don't want them to vote for one specific person. We just want them to get out there and do it and we just want to be united. So I think this is a good opportunity of inclusion and to show that diversity is always a good thing. So if the international officers have anything to add, that whether they think about a different opportunity for voting or politics, because it's not always easy to stay out of those very divisive conversations. So maybe a tactic that you have, that instead of making someone feel marginalized, saying, you know what, we're all united, we're all here together. Let's not pick a side or pick a group, but let's focus on something else. So what do you guys have it for, for advice?
I'll go ahead. Okay. Actually, I was looking through it. I think it's a great thing, like, to actually keep an open mind, because I think when it comes to anything politics, the best thing you can ever do for yourself is to keep an open mind. And like the great thing this chapter actually did was that they did not like maybe make, like, you know, a certain groups, okay, you all are going to vote for this person, or you have to vote for this person. It was open, you know, and I think it's something we have to do as a chapter, is to keep an open mind and let, you know, any member or anybody, you know, make their decision when it comes to politics, and not like enforce it into them or tell them, okay, you have to vote for this person. And also something I really appreciated about what they did was they were very observant during the whole process, because they found out that there was language barrier. Because, you know, for me, for example, being, you know, from Africa, like if for example, I'm probably like eligible to vote, for example, I wouldn't really know what to do or like how to go about it. But like for them to have that little, you know, gathering, you know, gather everybody together and try to have somebody to translate, you know, if maybe somebody speaks Spanish or somebody speaks, you know, so other languages, but to be able to make that happen is just very important, because I feel like it's one good thing about diversity, because we're showing that we are one, we are not divided, and no matter where you're from, no matter who you are, no matter if you're black or blue or green, you are still accepted and you can still make it happen. So it's very, very important to understand that we are one. And that's why I really love anything about membership, Fight to Rakapa, whatsoever we do in Fight to Rakapa, it has really shown what it means to really love somebody. Because I feel whatever project you choose to do, be it be it voting, helping people to like learn how to vote, or any other project, I feel it's a time to actually be diverse and show love to one another and show that we are one, and no matter what. So keeping an open mind is definitely one big thing I would advise anybody when it comes to politics. Thank you.
I think and boy, it's going to be tough to top Amanda and OB. But the one thing I want to add is I think it's important that we don't add our own biases. I think it's important that, you know, we say, okay, yeah, you might have different thoughts, but I don't want to change your thoughts. I want to know why you believe what you believe. And I think that's what we need to center on. I think that's what really helps us become united, stay united. And as far as the barriers, there shouldn't be any barriers. There shouldn't be. And if there are barriers, that's what we need to look at. We need to look at, okay, where are the barriers? Why are there barriers? And what can we do to remove the barriers? And that's really all I got to add to that. Amanda and OB, you really nailed it.
Awesome, and I'll add a little bit onto that too, just because I like to piggyback. But one of the things that I really like about this example that Amanda chose is because it picks a topic that's so present today, and it's really polarized in the sense that everybody is very divided on what side of different arguments and stuff they want within politics. So the cool thing about this particular project that they did is it's working, like Dawn was saying, on taking that polarization and turning it into understanding, which I think is really, really important in any kind of aspect of diversity, or, you know, it's one of the huge purposes of one of the reasons why we do the Honors in Action projects and so forth, is to get a better understanding of the communities that we live in and the people that we live in around us. And I think it's really, really important for us to remember try to find out what the actual problem is in any kind of situation. For example, with this voting project that they did, they took it, instead of just being like, the problem is that nobody's voting, they limited it down to the very specifics of being a language barrier or something else like that. So sometimes it's not always necessarily what our first impression is going to be as far as what we assume is the problem in a situation. So I think that's really, really important to look at, and I think that's an awesome reason that we looked at this particular example. So that's my 2 cents, and I'm going to pass it back off to Amanda.
Thank you so much to the 3 of you for contributing your thoughts, and please feel free to contribute your thoughts as well in the chat box and any questions you have too. I really love what, Don, you brought up about being understanding and being unbiased, and then Tasha, you perfectly piggybacked, which brought it back to honors in action, getting a better understanding, which I think is a good topic to have right now, because chapters are still either in that research process or trying to find their action component of it. So it really does show us that, especially with projects like honors in action, you can't choose sides. You can't say this is happening because this is right or this is wrong, anything like that. You just have a very research, unbiased view of the events that are occurring, and you take that and take it further to trying to help out the situation. So what I really love about this project too is that I think it truly reflects what Phi Theta Kappa is, and I think it turned out to be a good recruitment mechanism for this chapter as well, because by doing this, by having the leaders of Phi Theta Kappa learn more about social injustices and learn more about how in-depth and detailed issues like this are and become, you become a leader on campus, not just a leader in Phi Theta Kappa, but students and professors and people will see on campus that, you are there to truly make a difference. And it becomes a great mechanism for people as role models, as recruitment, because people see, wow, look at Phi Theta Kappa. It doesn't matter who I voted for. It doesn't matter what policy I didn't agree with. They want to hear my opinion. And going back to what OB said about, not caring if you're black, blue, or green, and I thought those were very, very funny colors to choose. Going back to that is that this debate is healthy. This is how you choose a theme for honors in action. It's not always fun. It's not always easy to debate, especially when you have very strong feelings and a very diverse board. But that is exactly what you need to do in order to come to a theme or a topic or an action. And as scholars and as Phi Theta Kappans, we use that to reach a scholarly level of debate. It's not this, you're wrong and I'm right and this and that. It's, okay, let's look at the detailed research that we have done and compiled together, and this looks like it could be the issue, so let's come together and see what we could do as a chapter or a group or as a team. So that's why I really love this voting rights and responsibilities, because I'll turn on the news every day or read the newspaper or anything like that, and I feel like we live in a world filled with a lot of anger. And then I'll look at Phi Theta Kappa, and especially the meetings I have with this group, which is incredible. And I'll look at the diversity, and we don't all agree. We rarely all agree on the same thing. It's usually food that we'll all agree on. But through that, we learn more about each other. And by not having that barrier, like you mentioned, Don, we can't have that barrier. We can't have that wall up saying, if you're different, then I don't want to hear from you. You have to have that understanding and the knowledge as a Phi Theta Kappan that there is more to something than just the book cover. There's more than what is just being presented to me. So what this chapter did, which I thought was interesting, is that they hosted those workshops and those information sessions about what they could do, but they learned more about themselves through their social justice training. They had special training done with an organization in the state of Oregon to teach them about voting rights and responsibilities, which I think is a perfect example of what chapter officers should do for their honors in action, because you have that leadership development component that is very important to it. So not only are you helping the community, but you're also learning a lot about yourselves and maybe your own biases that we all inherently have, and you can learn to really keep that in check. So I think it's a good opportunity, and any honors in action, you always have that leadership component where you learn that you might have to step up or step in or take a different role that you're not used to. And that's why I think every chapter and every chapter officer should see the value in honors in action, because we have these incredible opportunities to help the people around us and our communities. And like you said, Tasha, you know, you might not know the issue, or you might have the surface of it that there's an issue with voting, but what is causing that? What's causing the issue, and how can I help there? So let's see what else we can talk about this chapter. What about Don, Obi, or Tasha? What have you guys done to really help include people on your campus that maybe you don't agree with, or you feel like they are being marginalized on your campus? What have you guys done?
I would say something about that. For example, last semester, and actually, I would just say something because at first, when I came here from Africa in school, actually how I got to know about Phi Theta Kappa, and it kind of goes through this topic, was I was very bad. I couldn't speak very good English, so I felt like some people didn't want to talk to me. You know, I felt, okay, you know, you're not sounding pretty well. I don't understand you. You're not pronouncing it well. So like I was kind of shy to even talk to somebody. But I had a friend, and she was a Phi Theta Kappa member, and literally she was very patient with me. And that is something that is very amazing about Phi Theta Kappa, is the patience. The people are willing to hear you no matter where you're from. You know, they're willing to help you no matter who you are. So, you know, she was willing to help me, and actually that was how I got to know about Phi Theta Kappa. And she helped me out with my English class, and whatsoever, any problem I had in my classes, she was willing to support me. So I made it, it was possible for me to join Phi Theta Kappa. So our chapter now, I decided, when I became chapter president, I decided to do the same thing, because we have a lot of international students that are here and trying to play. They play football, or they play baseball, or anything, or maybe just here for school. So what we do now is, like, when it comes to recruitment, we try not to just send emails. You know, yes, you can send emails, or you can send it to the mail, but you know, but there's a difference in that one-on-one touch with somebody. It just feels very special, you know, when somebody's talking to you and make you feel like, you know, you have something within you that is tangible. You're authentic. You can do something great. You know what I mean? So it's very different. So all we did was we tried to go out with, you know, with the letters ourselves and meet them one-on-one and talk to them. Hey, I'm Obi, you know, and just have like a little short conversation. You know, you don't even have to like just come to tell them about Phi Theta Kappa alone. Just try to get to know them as well, as, you know, as an individual. It's also very special because you're trying to know them. You're not just coming with Phi Theta Kappa alone. Then when you do that, you're already getting them interested, because this guy wants to be my friend, or this girl wants to be my friend. So maybe this is gonna work, you know. So, you know, it's just part of fellowship and all that. So literally, there's something I also wanted to talk about this chapter in Portland. Based on their project, I feel it is very important to, like, I use the word, keep an open mind, because why I say that is because while I was growing up, my mom always said, if, like, everybody in this world have a problem, everybody in this world have their own challenges, everybody have a story. So you don't have to push people away and make them feel like their opinion is not needed. Everybody have a reason for doing certain things. So it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. They actually have a reason for doing it. So it's very important to always keep an open mind and listen to people, no matter where they're from. As I say, green, blue, or black. you have to be okay with that, because that is why we're diverse. That is how we can grow as human beings. That is how we can make our honors in action and college projects be amazing, because when you keep an open mind, you learn about yourself as well. You're self-aware about yourself. You know, oh, maybe I'm not really open to this, but probably I should think this way. You know, probably I should try it this way. You know, then you are also giving yourself a chance to come out of your bubble and learn and grow. So it's very important to also try different things, because that's what shows that you actually open-minded to, you know, to explore and get people to join Phi Theta Kappa, because it's always what about, you know, this is all Phi Theta Kappa is about. We need people to think like us. We need people to, you know, be happy. You know, there's so much love in PTK, guys. So, you know, we need to share this love out there and get people to join as well, so that we can have a better place, because we want to change the world. So how can we change the world? We cannot do it alone. We need people. We need people. And doing this chapter, what they did, also trying to get people, to join this the little stuff they did, like trying to send these informations and translate, is also a way you get people to know about Phi Theta Kappa. You're already creating that awareness without knowing. So, and when they feel that you're caring for them as an individual, you're giving them that mindset. Maybe I belong here. These people, they care about me. I belong here. So, there's so many tactics we can use, but always know we can't do it alone. We can change the world together, not by yourself.
I think I'd like to add, well, what we used to do with my previous chapter, when we had information tables, it was our intention to talk to everyone. It didn't matter whether they were a member or not. They might have been a prospective member. They might have been a person that will never be a member. But our policy was inclusivity. We just chose to work with everyone. And if a non-member wanted to help us with one of the projects, and I'll give you a good example, the C4, the college completion, we had non-members that were trying to recruit for signatures. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And the other thing, that we would do is we would work with other organizations or other clubs to work in tandem on different projects. A good example would be the ISA, which was the International Students Association. So, we tried to create them type of relationships. And I think that's what needs to be done. I think we need to reach outside of our boundaries. And who knows, where we're going to reach to. We really don't know. We might just say the right thing to the right person, and you might have somebody on the edge of being qualified to get into Phi Theta Kappa that all of a sudden has that lightning bolt in them and says, what, I want to do this. I want to get involved with these people, and I want to make it. And that might be just enough to get them over the edge.
That's a great comment, Don. I just wanted to add in, because from my perspective as a headquarters staff member and someone that's always looking at how membership is going around the country and the challenges, as you talked about, and obstacles, that is something I'm curious to know if all of the people that are listening right now and watching this, do you have strategies that are similar to what Don just suggested? It sounds like he had found a very lucrative partnership with other groups, and that exposure kind of broadened the reach of Phi Theta Kappa in that particular community. So I'm always looking at how can we make sure that diverse populations are served, whether it's online students, dual enrolled, commuter students, non-traditional students. I mean, I know we all have a certain amount of these types of students on our campus. But I'm really curious if anyone has any interesting or innovative ideas to share about how you were able to reach this population, and how did you know that you did? That's really something that I would love to see in the chat box. So I just wanted to offer that as I heard Don talking. It reminded me of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis.
One small change that we actually made, to your point, Don, and your question, Heather, was we would have information tables as well, information sessions, tables, things like that. And one small change we did was, instead of hosting an information table from 9 to 3, we expanded it from 8 until 6:30. And even though it's a lot longer, we made sure we recruited more people to be at the table to switch off often. But what we saw is that we had more parents, and we had more returning adult students that came and joined us that semester, because we were able to reach them maybe before they were going to work, when they were coming to class for an 8 a.m. or after they were going to work, when they wouldn't have had that opportunity otherwise when we were hosting it previously. So even if it's just a small change like that, to reach out to other students, and what you said, Don, was with the relationships, which I think is great, because when you host an event, and when you share an event with another club or organization, say you and your chapter and Student Government Association both co-host an event, then each organization can talk about what they do on campus, and students can learn more about what they can do to be active on campus. And one thing I just wanted to read from the blog that I think pertains both to the Honors in Action Project and recruitment for new members. Chapter officers said voting is a right, and it was their responsibility to provide students with the information they needed to make a reasonable decision. And I think that speaks to what Phi Theta Kappas do, is that we make sure that we are well informed so we can proceed further. You know, we always say with Honors in Action, you don't put the cart before the horse. You make sure you're well informed, you do the research, then you can make a good constructive decision. And that's the same thing that we should provide eligible members with. We shouldn't expect someone to pay a fee and join something that they don't know about. You know, we have to take the initiative to reach out to eligible members, reach out to students to tell them, this is everything that Phi Theta Kappa can offer you, and this is what we do on campus. These are the events, scholarships that are all open to you. So it's always important to remember and not to get discouraged when someone doesn't know about Phi Theta Kappa. That's a great opportunity to tell them about Phi Theta Kappa. You should always have that in your little utility belt of Phi Theta Kappa recruitment, is to have that elevator speech ready. So you could just tell someone, oh, Tasha, you don't know about Phi Theta Kappa? Well, this is what we do on campus, and this is what I've done. And Obi, like you said, being one-on-one. You want to build that one-on-one relationship. You know, you don't want to have somebody talking to you about the very generic things like, these are the deadlines and these are the events. Other students want to hear how it changed your life. You know, when I joined Phi Theta Kappa, I finally enjoyed going to school. I finally saw the value in my education. You want people to hear those stories, to hear what happened to you. You don't want to just give them plain flat information and expect them to join. You want to show them the spark in your life. You want to show them why you do Phi Theta Kappa, why you're there right now. You know, a lot of Phi Theta Kappans, they dedicate a lot of time. They dedicate everything they can to their chapters and to this organization. And people are going to want to know why. They're going to want to know why you're staying on campus for 12 or 13 or 14 hours, you know, doing some type of project like that. So share that. You want people to have enough information to make a reasonable decision, as the chapter in Portland, Oregon did. But make sure you remember that you are the most important component of recruitment. It's not pamphlets, it's not just t-shirts, it's not all of that kind of jazz. It truly is you, because if OB came up to me in the hallway and told me everything that he was doing with Phi Theta Kappa that year, I would want to join. So always remember that your spark, your personality is the most important part of relaying that information to someone else. Tasha, what do you do on campus?
Awesome. That's great. I was actually going to try to signal you, be like, yay, me next. No, actually kind of going off of what that's saying, I think it's a really important distinction for all of us to remember that, you know, whether we're trying to get more our PTK chapter more involved on our campus, or if we're working on our Honors in Action project or a college project, or working on building up membership at our school, it's important to remember that it's not always going to be quantifiable results in the beginning. It's going to be a lot more qualifiable results. So I saw earlier that somebody made a comment that they didn't notice that their chapter at their school had much of a presence. So I think that that's really important to remember, that even the best chapters that you could possibly imagine started off at that point, at one point or another. And the distinction between where they are today and where they are before starts in those little steps. And, you know, that's going off of what Amanda and Obi and Dawn is saying about making sure that you're having that more of a presence on campus, but also going kind of that step farther to try to be the change that you want to see on your campus and at your chapter. So making sure it's, you know, that personal invitation and stuff. Try to put yourself in other people's shoes on, you know, interactions. I'm a shy person, naturally. So whenever I'm working with other students and stuff on my campus for PTK or otherwise, I always try to make them feel more included, or try to find ways to kind of weasel them into something that I'm working on. Maybe if they're studying by themselves, or just kind of out there, to try to bring them into that community that I love so much about PTK. So I think that that's really important. But I think it's definitely important to remember that everybody's at those different stages, and that it's really important to make that general distinction. So.
And while you were saying that, Tasha, I saw a comment as well about online students and online members. And I think an important component is to listen, because you might have an avenue or a certain type of member or student that you didn't previously consider before. And maybe it would be streaming your meetings online so people can access it online. You can use Zoom for that. You can use a bunch of different applications. Being on social media more, or having your own chapter website, or using the regional website. Always trying to find a different way to have more access for members and students. And an important part of that is just listening to what members need. Maybe you have a father or a mother who you didn't have that issue before, where they need childcare. So listen to what they need and try to accommodate that, because there might be something that you haven't previously encountered, and you could help with that. Before PTK and before community college, I didn't have the opportunity to have a lot of friends that were international students. Sorry, I didn't have a lot of friends that were international students, so I really wasn't familiar with everything that they went through and everything they experienced. So to help accommodate their experience and their struggles and their challenges, we moved meetings to a later time so they could attend meetings that were geared specifically toward them going through the process of being an international student. So you always have to have that open mind, and always be aware that not everything is going to be concrete. You're going to have to change sometimes for recruitment tactics, or maybe it'll be hosting a meeting, but you want to try and always to include other types of members and other types of students, because that's what Phi Theta Kappa does. We are a very inclusive organization, and we are 100 years old next year, and there's a reason for that. We haven't stayed the same since 1918. We are continuously changing, and you'll see that a lot with our blogs. You'll see that a lot with our updates, our things like that. So it's always important to listen to what members need on campus.
There's some great discussion going on in the chat box, and I just didn't want all of these great ideas to be lost. I'm trying to keep up and rapidly give my own opinions and links. But I want to say to Marcia in particular, thank you for joining us, because she is a prospective member of a chapter in Nebraska. And so I wanted to let her know, welcome to the Phi Theta Kappa family, and we hope that this will help you make an informed decision. You'll be best friends with Obina Mwa. He'll be part of your region, the Kansas-Nebraska region. And so I'm actually going to insert a link into the chat box to show all of the regional meetings that are happening across the country this fall, because we just updated this like last week, and I wanted to make sure I drew everyone's attention to it. So while you're listening and debating and talking, you can take a peek at the chat box. I'll put that in there in 2 seconds.
Also, there is something like what Amanda and Tasha talked about. I just wanted to add to it a little bit more. There is something our chapter tried doing different this year, and that is during our first orientation, our orientation on campus, I went to the president, college president, and told him if I could speak, during the college orientation, because, almost all the students are there, like the athletes, people who are commuting, people from the tech center, like every student attend the orientation. So it was a great opportunity for me to be able to, talk about Phi Theta Kappa, but it was just like a start. I wanted to be like, okay, try to push the officers. But I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll start it first. But with every other meetings we have on campus, because we have like a regular housing meeting or, something that brings the students together, then we can still talk about Phi Theta Kappa. It's also another strategy you can use, to also not only build yourself, like public speaking, you can grow through that as officers, be able to stand in front of people and talk, and also, get the word out there about Phi Theta Kappa and let them know that you care, So it's definitely one thing we started this year, and I hope, and that's why you just have to keep thinking of new things, because what you may be doing last year may not work this year. So you always have to try something different and just keep adding and keep adding, because like I said, we cannot grow alone. We cannot be successful alone. We need to get people. We need to get people and take them along. So this world can be a better place. It can. Okay, guys, we have to be optimistic. That's why we have PTK.
Obi, what you said there reminded me of maybe what you did last year, you're going to change it this year or something like that, and the one-on-one relationships again. And one recruitment tactic that I have seen be very effective is getting professors involved as well. A lot of professors understand what Phi Theta Kappa membership means, that it's a tremendous honor and that their students are not only overachievers, but they really are the best and brightest in their classrooms, and they probably already know that. So trying to get professors to either announce eligible students in their classroom or to have the invitation with them there to hand them out, it is a tremendous connection that can offer eligible members that opportunity to say, if my professor sees the value in this, I should take their advice, or I should look more into this. So that's another way that you could build that one-on-one relationship, because professors know what Phi Theta Kappa, they hopefully know what Phi Theta Kappa does on campus too. And it's always good to, what I do in my classes is I will announce events going on campus. So ask the professor for a minute before or a minute after the lecture or class time and just say, hey guys, we're having a blood drive in the student center sponsored by Phi Theta Kappa, you could come. So having things like that, or hey guys, we have an information session, because that word of the mouth, that one-on-one connection is usually stronger than just seeing an email or something like that. So you can really use different tactics, and you can use a lot of different tactics to try and help recruit members. So always, I really love that you mentioned that, Obi, always have that one-on-one relationship. And it might not be the one-on-one relationship with, officer or member and eligible member. It might be professor and eligible member or advisor, just as long as you have that connection. Don, what do you guys do on your campus?
Well, one of the things, and I was going to segue onto this, I have personally found that professors prefer that you make the announcement. They'll make it for you, but I found that they prefer it, and I used to take advantage of it every chance I had.
And then I'm just going to go back to another topic. Sorry, Don. Going back to what Amanda was saying about maybe if you have professors and stuff on campus that maybe don't know as much what's going on in your chapter. One of the things that my chapter actually does every semester is when we're working on our Honors in Action project or a college project, depending on if it interacts with a specific department, you actually invite professors to come to our meetings to give us more information about the stuff that we're researching. So I think it's also really important to remember with the Honors in Action project and your college project that your entire staff at your school, whether it's administration or your professors, are resources or potential resources for you. So it's a double whammy on that one, because on the one side you can get your professors to know what you're doing on campus, but on the other side you're also getting one-on-one interaction where they are giving you high quality information and stuff for your research. So that's kind of another thought that I haven't heard anybody say recently. So
good one, Tasha.
I also wanted to bring up an article that I had recently read. I think I shared it with the international officers, but I can't quite remember. I meant to if I didn't. But there's a great article out about how becoming a graduate student or a professional, a lot of the institutions that are offering graduate programs, for example, are really looking at candidates to see if they have made any attempts at diversity and inclusivity efforts at their current institution. So if you're someone that's thinking about getting a graduate school education, after you transfer to a 4-year and then move on, or going into any sort of profession at this point, it doesn't even have to be higher education. I think that the world is starting to become a place where we're not only emphasizing the global market and those types of ideas, but also diversity and inclusivity, direct experience with those ideas and those concepts is becoming increasingly important. So if you want to be competitive, I'm sure that you'll find some of this in Competitive Edge as well if you've taken that online professional development program. But I just wanted to stress the importance of that message, that you will be in an interview one day, somewhere, sometime, and you will be asked the question about diversity and inclusivity and what have you done to contribute. Not just are you aware of these topics and what the definitions of these words are, but what have you done to contribute in some way to these types of initiatives and projects, because these are the types of initiatives and projects that move the world forward and move Phi Theta Kappa forward. So I think as I'm listening, I wanted to bring that up. It came to my head, and I just really want to stress to all of the members and prospective members that are here that this is an important topic. And I'm so proud of the 4 of you, and Jay as well, the 5 of you, for being able to take on such a difficult topic at such a young point in your academic career. So kudos to all of you for facilitating this wonderful discussion. And I see more comments coming in, so I'm going to mute and get back to the comments in the chat box for the last 8 or 9 minutes that we have together here.
Thank you so much, Heather. And as you'll see, while we publish more Diversify files, when we talk about diversity and inclusion, we aren't just talking about appearance. We're not talking just about race or different things like that. We're talking about diversity and inclusion as a whole. So with this project, it is including everyone's opinion, or it is including everyone, especially marginalized groups. You'll see we'll have several other publications. It could be about food insecurity. You are trying to include people that on campus that may not necessarily know where their next meal is coming from. That's still diversity and inclusion. You could have something that targets a specific group of students, and you'll see that throughout this time and throughout our time together during the Synergy sessions, that diversity and inclusion covers so many topics that you may not have necessarily thought of. And that's true for all of us as well. When we were discussing this, and as we continue to discuss this with each other, we learn even more groups are included in those terms of diversity and inclusion. Targeting veterans, targeting returning adults, parents, traditional students coming from high school. You have so many different groups within this and so many different opportunities for growth that every chapter can truly take something away, whether it's from international students, food insecurity, any of the topics that we're going to cover. You could see that there are a lot of opportunities. And I wanted to say that with this Voting Rights and Responsibilities blog, that as Phi Theta Captains, we are catalysts. We are leaders for change and for improvement and for positivity in the world around us. And this doesn't call for us to be silent. This doesn't call for us to be passive, but it calls for us to be included, to look at different groups and to understand why they are different, or if we don't understand, to just acknowledge those differences and not use that as a barrier to be derisive and to create more challenges among us. As Phi Theta Captains, as you'll see at your conferences and these different types of synergy sessions and webinars and recruiting on campus, that we don't target one specific group. We don't just say, we want you because you're you. We want everyone, because that is what we do as a society. We include all students who are eligible for Phi Theta Kappa, and even students that aren't even eligible. I work with so many prospective members or students that just want to be part of Phi Theta Kappa family and don't have the membership. One thing that I actually wanted to mention with recruitment, which is fantastic to see, is that very often someone will look at Phi Theta Kappa and their GPA won't be there. Their GPA won't meet the requirement, but they'll become part of the family. They'll hang out during meetings, they'll come to volunteer events, to workshops, and you'll see them progress throughout their semesters, and they'll make that GPA requirement. And that is probably one of my favorite things about Phi Theta Kappa, is that you can set membership as a goal, attain that goal, and go even further with it. So we aren't exclusive to GPA. we truly welcome everyone. And through this difficult time, there are a lot of people that are experiencing challenges, whether it's from the aftermath of the hurricane or financial issues, any other challenges that you are experiencing. Phi Theta Kappa is here for you. We truly are a family. And before the end of this session, I'm going to just put my email in the chat box and the other international officers will as well. And we really encourage you to email us. We would love to hear from members, from advisors, from alumni, to hear your ideas, to say, you know what, maybe you guys should cover a topic on this, or, you know, how can I have a better recruitment tactic, or this is what we do on the campus, because this is why we founded these synergy sessions. We want to hear from you. You know, it gets a little, I wish we could see all of you guys on Zoom instead of just seeing you type. I really wish we could, but we'll create that. I'll have Obi create a new system, a new program. But we really want to create a more united Phi Theta Kappa. So please continue to always share your ideas with us. Subscribe to The Reach, keep up with the blog. And what I love that we do on the blog too is we highlight different members. So you'll see that you'll have a different member story every now and every so often, just discussing what they went through with their membership or what they did to attain their membership. So do you guys have anything else? I just want to say thank you too for coming here. Go ahead, Obi.
I have something to say. Okay, just a quick analogy because of time. Okay, why I wanted to say this is just to let you guys understand the importance of diversity and inclusion. Take a look at when you build in a house. When we build in a house, we have a framer. We have people who work, you know, the roof. We have insulator. We have people who make the concrete and all that. Why I'm using this analogy is to say that you cannot make a complete house without working together. You have to have different people from with different perspectives and different stuff that they are good at to come together and make it happen faster. One person can do it, but it's going to take a longer period of time. So it's very important you all to come together as a team, your officers, your members, think together, keep an open mind, and be very diverse. And I promise you will have a successful Honors in Action. Thank you, guys.
OB, that was awesome. That was a great analogy. Bringing all the different talents together to create a super talent, superhero. I like it.
And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who is able to make it to the meeting tonight, especially our prospective members and our regular members and our advisors. We wouldn't be here without you guys. So we appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to spend it with us.
I also wanted to say thank you for attending to Ken, and he won't be able to join us due to his schedule and the future sessions, but he is from Hudson County Community College in Jersey City. So Amanda will have a new member of the Middle States region, correct? Yes, they are part of the Middle States region of Phi Theta Kappa. We do have 29 regions, and if you're curious, I am going to post a map real quick on chat box before we leave so you can see all 29 regions, and you will see where you belong when you join the Phi Theta Kappa family in terms of your regional network. And I did also put my email address, heather.yush@ptk.org. I'm the Director of Membership Services here at Phi Theta Kappa, and if you have any questions as a prospective member, a current or alumni or advisor, we have a staff in our office, and we're prepared to help to support and assist you in any way. And that support might include pointing you in the direction of one of these wonderful international officers so that they can share their personal testimony and their perspective a little further to answer any questions that you may have. So thank you all so very much. I am going to find that map and post it here for a moment. So if you want to hold on for just another second before we all take off, I will make sure that's done, and make sure you're copying and pasting anything before we go away. This chat box will disappear, but I can provide this to you upon request if you want it emailed to you directly. And if you all want to talk about where they can find the recording again, that would be wonderful, just so they know where to look.
Yes, so go to ptk.org/webinars, and that has all of our recordings. So past webinars we've had as well on membership and recruitment, and all of our synergy sessions will be up there too. So if you want to watch them maybe you want to watch it right after this, I don't know. But you can share it as well. So I like to have like a webinar night, and I'll go through and I'll watch a webinar that I haven't before, or I'll send one to a friend that I think they should watch. So ptk.org/webinars.
Thank you, Amanda, for that plug. You gave me plenty of time. I got the map up. So now everyone knows where they fit into this puzzle of Phi Theta Kappa. We're in 50 states, 9 nations, 1,300 chapters. So we are everywhere, and we're here for you. And we want you to come to the next Synergy session on September 19th, also Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. And we'll change it up and have Don talk about his perspectives on his next blog post, I think that we're all eagerly awaiting. And we will also hopefully have Jay Fritz joining us from the Mississippi, Louisiana region as well. Thank you all for your time, and I appreciate your attention and willingness to give up some time for Phi Theta Kappa this afternoon. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.